Monday show, everybody. Welcome to Cancel This. It is 7:39 on this December 12th. This is cancelthisshow.com. Once again, cancelthisshow.com. I'm Vic Faust with Tabitha Hassel, Eric Johnson. We are grateful that you're joining us on a Monday. And you know what's great about life?
What?
No matter what people try to throw at you, no matter what people try to do in life, if you keep the right perspective, you can overcome.
I think we also need to introduce the fourth member of the Beatles who's in the
There
in the
is,
room.
well, I don't know if we can do that yet.
Really?
You need to text the fourth member.
Well, there's
of
a
the
fourth
Beatles.
and a fifth member
You
of the
need to
Beatle
text
right
them.
now.
You need to text them first.
Well, all I gotta do is look to my right.
The show notes.
Come on.
I don't think the show note. You didn't get a chance to read the show notes.
What were the show notes? I don't
You need
read
to-
show notes. I don't read directions. I put IKEA furniture together by myself.
Well, the Beatles are going to text you and let you know if you're allowed to say anything.
I'm not
yet.
going to say crap.
We'll wait.
But we
and
have a
see.
major surprise, right? 2 feet
Whether
from my right.
whether the surprise comes today or whether the surprise comes tomorrow, we're just grateful that we are streaming today on Facebook. You can catch us there, and of course, it is a Monday, and we have got 2 hours and 20 minutes of show to go on Cancel This. You know what we do?
What?
We're a live 3-hour podcast,
Yes,
baby,
you know that's right.
with all the news headlines, political commentary, culture, and cancel culture stories. 2 weeks down, the show only gets better starting today. Moving forward, you're going to see a lot, and
a
I
lot
mean
better.
a lot of changes.
Yeah.
Coming day after day, week after week, month after month. There has been a vision with this from the get-go, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
We've been flying the plane without wings for the last few weeks. We basically weren't able to get this damn thing off the ground, but the ground is going to start to get farther and farther away because to my right, I don't care.
Did you get a ding?
I think I get anything, but I'll tell you what, to our right, you can't see them. They're off camera, and I don't know why they don't want to come on camera. I'll let you guys decide that.
All right, you've
But
already
we've
started
got
it,
some
so now
big news.
All right, you know what?
You don't
Yeah.
sound funny. You just like we can't hear you, but it makes the show better.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, I'm snorting.
She snorted. First thing she said today was, anyway, go ahead.
Pretty much.
That's that means she's angry. Look out. The snort comes and then the charge.
I'm actually very happy this morning. I'm happy to see you guys.
Yeah.
I got to see
We
you
made
guys
it.
on Friday night, which
Yeah,
was really
We did.
nice.
Correct.
I saw you Friday.
Eric and I told ghost stories, and I didn't sleep all weekend.
That's right.
We're gonna
And then
get
you
into those
sent us a
stories.
story from Fox 2 about the
Satanic rituals.
satanic ritual. What is up? What?
That's
Anyway.
and
Satan is everywhere.
that'll be for Friday.
Anyway,
Dun
And
dun
there's-
dun.
2 extra Satans in the room right now.
Well, you know what? Let Eric. You brought it up. You're gonna have. You can't just do a tease
I
like that and
can.
leave people hanging. So you might as well bring it up. Go ahead, make the introduction.
I would pan my camera over, but I'll never get it back to where it's supposed
Yeah,
to go.
no, that's gonna be. We've got ideas for good shots.
So in the past, the show started off as the war on COVID. I can't even say it. I won't say the full
The war
word.
on COVID.
Okay,
back
can you
in the
say that?
day.
Are we canceled all of a sudden?
COVID is fine. The I word is not.
Gotcha. The war on COVID. And when we put it together, it was kind of, if you haven't heard the show before now or way before, Vic, myself, Tabitha, and another gentleman, or I use that term loosely, started the show. And that gentleman now is in the room. Chris Knight is going to be coming
Ladies
back.
and
Woohoo.
well,
Sometimes.
No.
Where's my buzzer?
No, he's coming back. He's
He's-
coming hard.
he's coming back,
He's
but
coming
he's not
strong.
coming back every day.
You don't know that.
I do.
He's
know
going to have
that.
so much fun.
I know.
He will have
Chris-
so much fun. How could you not
Yes.
come back every day?
Well, it's not a matter of not having fun, and we're grateful. Chris will be here, but he's not
No.
going to be here every day because he travels a lot.
He does travel a lot.
But-
he's going to bougie that way.
But the headline is the gang's all back, and that's the best part.
Together again.
it's
Chris
it-
Knight back, but Chris has also brought along our other former
I mean,
co-host,
we are just
Scotty. Did you already say Scotty?
I did not. Thanks for letting. I was about to introduce Scotty, and we are stacked with
And every day.
Yes.
I
don't know.
think so.
Oh,
He
Scotty.
was cussing the alarm clock this morning. He
Okay.
said.
Scotty doesn't realize on Friday night, Tabitha and myself and one of our listeners had maybe one of the most interesting paranormal discussions I've ever had, ever. And Scotty is a big paranormal and a big conspiracy Friday kind of guy. So I think that if we just did one of those, Scotty would be interested to come here every day.
I think so too. I agree completely. We could throw a little bit of that out there every day.
Okay. You weren't participating with us with the ghost talk the other night, Vic.
He
No.
had already left.
No. I was there.
You were?
I
Not
wanted.
when-
I was so tired. I was going to leave like 30 minutes before, but the ghost talk had me there, and we're going to get into that story. And the best part about that is the fact that you held out on us on our last Friday free for all conspiracy paranormal Friday. And we're going to ask you about it again Friday because
Yeah.
I've told two people the story that you and our sales associate, our director of sales, Lizzie Sparks, and media, she was, I can't bear it. I can't talk about it right now.
Well, you're going to save all this stuff for later, aren't you?
So unmute your mic. So anyway, what we've got going on right now is we are making the most of our situation, and I cannot wait for us to get in Paranormal Friday.
I tell you what, we had one this the other night at Wenty, so we invite all of you guys to come out. Anyway, it's good to have you guys back, man.
Now they're back. They're working with our machines, which is the best part. And of course, they were thrown into duty, and they did a phenomenal job of learning our equipment very quick. And once again, it's all about making sure that this show, this podcast, will be best. We're talking about us not only being a local show, but a national show. And like I repeated, I'll say it one more time. When life throws you lemons, you make lemonade, and you just go forward. You keep a positive attitude. You leave the trash behind. You throw the trash out, and then you go from there.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to do.
I could not agree with you guys more. It's like, who cares about the technology? It'll screw up all over the place. It's what we have to say and what our people on Facebook have to say. And this is just a voice for, people to talk and to kind of get acquainted with each other and know what we're all thinking. Like, I mean, there was headline after headline after headline after headline after headline this weekend coming out. And it's just like a popcorn machine. And you need a place to go to be able to talk about that stuff.
Yeah,
We'll do it here.
And
It's
I'm
No matter how
never-ending.
controversial it is, and that's why we call the damn show Cancel This, because we're going to say things that people will want to cancel us for.
And the best part about it is I'm getting text messages. You guys sound great. You guys sound great. It is the best that we have heard you guys sound.
And it's only going to get better
Yes,
every single day.
there is a God.
Finally,
Okay.
these issues
Perfect.
are behind us.
Which is good. And what could be better for Tabitha Hassel this morning here? But there's another Democrat that's changing parties. Dun
Oh,
dun
good Lord.
dun. Go figure. We already knew about Kirsten Sinema, and I can't say that she's necessarily changing parties to be legitimate. She's just going away from the Democratic Party,
To
saying,
independent.
"Done. I'm done with it." But now you have a New York City councilman, Ari Kagan. He was elected to the council in 2021 as a Democrat. Said, "You know what? Thanks, but no thanks." He's actually switching to become a Republican.
Yeah.
Did you see my Facebook post about this?
No, I
exact same
didn't.
thing this weekend. I discussed this on my personal Facebook page, and I said, you know what? Let's not put too much into these Democrats who are turning independent, because guess what? They're still not conservative. They're still not Republicans. We're still not going to get their vote. They are still not on our side. So let's still just ignore them. It's great that they're saying, hey, I'm not a progressive liberal. This party no longer represents me, but they're still not one of us. And we have to remember that.
Tabitha, I disagree with you.
They are not one of us.
Here's the problem, Tabitha. You can't just say, screw you, when
Sure, I
there's
can.
their announcement that the Democratic Party is a problem
Yeah.
is a great start
Correct.
if you
Correct.
are a
Correct.
hardcore right person, or at least somebody who says, you know what, the Democrats are way, way, way wrong. You should be happy because earlier
Correct.
this month, State Senator Glenn Jeffries also announced that he was foregoing his affiliation with the party
Yep.
in West Virginia. So this is happening more than we've ever seen. It really is.
Yes.
And it's a great thing. It's a good move that we're seeing old school Democrats finally separate themselves from liberal progressives, because we know liberal progressives actually make up very few, a very
Well-
small percentage of the Democrat Party, but it doesn't matter because they're
I
still
think-
going to vote for
I
Democrats.
love you, Tab, but you're wrong, and Vic is right. Here's the deal.
You want to fight over it?
No, no, I do not. But here's the deal.
Deep breath
We-
time.
We're actually smarter than you guys think, because about 2 years ago, we brought this up. We said, number one, people do not understand. People who are Democrat that are in office right now do not want to subscribe to the AOC wing of the party. Elon Omar, they're like, I do not get this stuff. I didn't sign up to be a Democrat for this stuff. And we all on this show said, political parties now are dangerous to be in because you walk around like sheeple. And number two, what happens to the blue dog Democrats, the ones that want to go back to that kind of thing? Number three, we said this is an opportunity for a third party, and then you looked at me like I had worms
No,
coming out
I-
of my face.
No, that's me.
No, I am
And guess what's
ready
happening
for
is
a third, fourth,
and
fifth,
guess
and
what?
sixth party.
And guess what's happening? The independent party might be bigger than we think. People might go, you know what?
We're
I'm
a
not.
long way
Well,
from that,
hold
as
on.
Vic says.
Hold on. Only less than 18 months ago, we said exactly what we're talking about right now. Do you remember that? We were talking. Remember, Vic? Remember we were saying. Remember we were saying, and it wasn't Republicans. The rhinos are still going to be rhinos.
The
but
Democrats, Eric, even Tulsi Gabbard, even Kristen Sinema, even this other guy, these
Tulsi
people.
Gabbard is a great example. Thank you.
She is not a conservative.
But
She's
she's
never going to vote Republican.
But she's also not a militant liberal
The
either.
only thing she's going to do, if she sways her vote at all, is elect an establishment candidate, which is exactly what we don't want. We need Republican conservatives, Republican patriot conservatives, not establishment, not Democrat. And these folks are never going to be on our side.
I
They
don't
will
agree
never
with
be.
you.
Oh, you know what? I take that back. They might be on your side.
Tabitha,
They're never going to be on my
Can
side.
I bring up a little precedence? Remember when you said that there's going to be this amazing revolution? Remember when you used that word?
We're working on it.
Okay. Remember when I said and this could have gone both ways.
No.
Remember when I said the revolution was going to happen with U-Haul trucks and people were
I
going
do
to
remember
move?
you saying
Do
that.
you remember that?
Yes, and you were wrong.
No, I'm not. No, Tabitha. The ingrowth of population into Florida has been amazing. The ingrowth of population to Texas has been overwhelming. Places like Montana are getting more population right now. Right now, people are leaving in droves. California, New York. Duh. I told you that this was going to be a revolution of U-Haul trailers. That is the truth.
We're getting off.
Well,
I'm just.
No, we're really
I
not.
have
We're really not.
corrections.
We're
I
not
have to
re-
say one thing.
You don't have to reset this at
There's
all.
not going to be a third party. Not in our
Yes,
lifetime.
there is. It's
Not
already
in our
happening.
lifetime.
There's 3 independents in the Senate of
And
100 senators.
and most of the country, Tabitha, is still in the middle. So when Tabitha, it's not that I disagree with what you say. When you say we need a hardcore far right candidate, hey, great.
I didn't say far right. I said we need an anti-establishment.
That's far right.
conservative patriot.
That's
is
far
what
right.
we need. That's what the country wants.
That's far right.
No,
that's
that's
far
not
right.
far right.
It's
I'm
far
not far
right.
By
right.
today's standards,
Yeah,
that is far
it
right.
is.
I can't agree with that. I think the majority of conservatives feel exactly the same way. I think that conservatives are just like liberals in that there are some folks really to the far right, and that's not us. That's not me.
I think this is the most fascinating conversation that we have on this show. I do. Because every time we come in to talk about the country and all the news stories that we talk about, all of this is like, for 24 months now, you are either a Trump supporter. Hold on, Vic. You are either a
I wasn't
Trump.
going to say anything, I promise.
I know. You're a Trump supporter, or you are an Elon Omar supporter, or an AOC supporter, or a Bernie Sanders supporter. You never got a chance to talk about the great senators like we have here in Missouri. You never had a chance to talk about the great senators or people who are in the middle of the Congress
let's
right now.
figure out where you're at with the great in here locally. Who are you talking about specifically?
Locally, I would say Josh
Because-
Hawley's a pretty damn
Okay,
good
well,
senator.
there's a big thumbs down.
Oh,
See that?
Tabitha.
Well, then that means
Big thumbs down on
I don't know
Hawley.
about. I think that Eric Schmidt is going to be a fantastic senator.
He was
He's not right or super right or super
he's
left.
extremely establishment.
Okay.
I like the guy, but Eric Schmidt is an establishment candidate.
I love this.
He was an
Okay.
amazing attorney
This is
general.
another reason why the show
I
is
love
so good.
him as a person, but he is an establishment candidate.
Oh, fantastic.
Greitens
He's
was a patriot. Schmidt is establishment. I love the guy, but he is establishment.
I'm just saying, I think that this country was built on people who were talking kind of more in the middle than they are off to the right and to the left. Do you understand what I'm saying? Is when AOC comes into a community and says, hey, Amazon, we don't want your kind here because it's too commercial or whatever the hell it is, and you lose all of that revenue in Brooklyn, New York. Man, that's a stupid way of doing business. Or even worse, Tashara Jones, who does not look at potholes as the problem, but looks at social justice issues as the problem.
And she's
Look
to the
at the-
very far left.
Look at the new mayor of Los Angeles. The number one thing that she wants to deal with is the homeless situation. Really, there's a lot more important things to deal with. Yes, homeless.
What?
Well, the
It
homeless
is.
What?
situation
But
is
I
probably
have-
number one.
Eric, that's number one in LA right now.
Probably
yes,
number
but
one.
she's going to come at this like public money to fix that problem. That's the problem.
I just want to know who the hell Tabitha thinks is going to be better than Josh Hawley, Eric Schmidt if
There we
you're a
go.
Republican
Yeah,
right
start
now.
talking.
Crichtons would have been, but they cheated him out of an election.
Whoa,
but yes,
time out. Who cheated him out?
I'm not going to
No,
get into
no,
that
no,
today.
no. This is
We
called
need our
Cancel
own-
Us. The show's called Cancel This.
I'm going to get canceled for talking
Well,
about
then
it.
go ahead.
No, you won't because you're going after
Yeah,
Republicans.
you can't bring stuff up on this
The
show.
same people that have gone after you before, same people, I'll say people, probably would back you.
Greitens lost. And trust me, and I love Eric Schmidt. I truly do. I think he's a wonderful
I know
person.
you do because
I really
we've
do.
had conversations off air.
Absolutely. I love Eric Schmidt. It's nothing personal against him. But I do know that the reason why Greitens lost is because lies were told about him. Lies. McConnell put up $6.7 million.
Welcome to politics.
And
That is
that's exactly
politics.
right. It's dirty
Welcome
politics.
to politics.
And they told flat out lies about Greitens, and too many people believed it because too many people think, well, oh, they said it in a campaign ad. It must be true. And it
Tabitha's
was not
probably
true.
referring to court documents,
Abuse allegations against
abuse allegations
his children
that
and
were never
wife.
proven, but there were abuse
Welcome to
allegations
politics.
Not only were
that
they
were
not,
read by a woman
Right.
on air.
it was not his
and
wife.
That was not his
It
wife.
was an actress.
Eric Greitens was leading that Senate primary for the Republican seat when those commercials went out. And those commercials were, as Eric says, it's politics. And if you're talking about the game of politics, you get an A
Yeah, I don't know.
because they worked.
I don't know of one guy that I know that has been nailed to the wall harder than Greitens was because he won the governor office.
And he
But
did
if
not
you open
deserve it.
yourself up at all
Yeah.
in politics,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah. And you don't, you absolutely do. But he was absolutely nailed to the cross or whatever you want to say.
Based on lies and money.
Prob-
But that's what
yes.
politics is about. It's the money you have because $6.7 million, I heard nearly $10 million altogether, went into a campaign against Greitens. And I'm not saying Schmidt was behind that. I'm saying that I know McConnell put in $6.7 million
Fine.
into those anti-Greitens.
Tabitha, we're not really talking
lies.
about the political side of this because it's a game. It's like flattening your balls to go win a football game, Tom Brady. But it's the thing about it is you have to, if you're going to win, you have to play the game. You cannot do this like it's 1959 anymore. You
It's
have
all
got,
about who
if
has
you're
the
the
money, Eric.
Republicans, if you're the
You
Republicans
have
right
to
now,
play the game.
yeah, if you're now, here's the thing: the Democrats, you can make the argument, are winning the game. Yet you still have Kristen Sinema jumping ship. You still have these Democrats going to become independents, right? So you have got to understand. Look at that. What's that dynamic about? Why is Kristen Sinema doing that? You know what? The first thing she came out, one of her first things that she said is the border is not fixed. She bucked her party. First thing she did, she bucked her party. She said Joe Biden is making a disgrace of this wall. First thing. How do you think that makes her fellow Democrats feel when you say she's still a Democrat?
She is still a Democrat.
But answer my question. The
I
first
don't
thing she
know.
said, the most important issue that they have right now is that border. Would you agree?
The border is a huge issue, yes.
Bingo.
She comes out and she
There
says
are
the border's
bipartisan
broken.
issues.
Let's just remember when you say you're not going to be on a certain party, Tabitha, and here's my issue. If a Republican comes out right now or multiple Republicans come out, like we have seen with the Democratic Party in the last few months, and say, oh, we're not going to be a Republican anymore. We're going to be an independent. Do you know how monumental that is for the Democratic message or the Democrats' message? What they do with that with national media,
I would love
how
it.
they portray.
If we had
I love it.
Republicans,
Good job.
You did
If-
not
yes,
just say
I know I
that.
did. If we had Republicans and Democrats,
Tabitha.
moving to the
cats and
center
dogs.
to create. I wish we had 4, 5, 6 parties, not 2 parties. I would love
She
to
wants
see.
us to be straight up third world.
Yeah.
No, I would love to
Yeah.
We'd have
see
15
more
villages coming in with their
more
candidate.
options because there are multiple parties these days,
I'm from
and
the
we're all
north.
forced into 2.
You get a North candidate, a West candidate, a Southwest candidate,
Yeah.
a
I'm all for
Mid-Atlantic
it.
candidate,
Wipe
a
the
Deep
slate
South
clean.
candidate,
Yeah.
an Upper Northeast candidate, and then we'll get one from Alaska and Hawaii.
It's about we the people. Thank you. Thank you.
No, it
Absolutely.
is. It's a good point.
It's
And
I
absolutely
used to
right.
fight for the independent party, remember, Vic? And you shut me down every time.
Yeah.
You're like, and you were right. I admit you were correct.
I'll still try to shut you down.
You were correct.
Shut you down.
I think
Because I
that-
don't like any of the Republican people either.
Because the only way you get a third party, here it goes. I'm going to set you up, knock it out of the park, Tabitha. I'm teeing that ball up for you.
Yeah.
The only way you get your third party is with a civil war or a revolution.
Let's go.
that was Tabitha Hassel. I don't subscribe to that because you know what?
Because you're all
when-
about peace
no,
and love.
Hold yourself. Hold
What's
yourself.
wrong with
Love.
peace and love?
Hold
Where
yourself.
does peace and love get you, Eric?
Hold yourself. Hold yourself.
Love is all you need.
Yeah, I think that the revolution is exactly what I said it was. I think that this country is setting itself up.
So we're all going to have to
Hold
choose
on.
between Florida and Texas.
Florida. Chris. Yes.
He's here.
Chris Knight making his first appearance.
And the first word he says is Florida.
By the way, Scotty Gherkin.
You got a damn mic
Chris
over there,
Knight
Chris.
back in studio as the new Cancel This sets afloat
Yes.
on December 12th.
The revolution is, man, where do you want to live? Yeah, I would really like to live in a nice subdivision. I would like to have my kids safe, and I want a nice school system. Guess what? Google it. You'll find some place in the United States that you want to go to. It isn't downtown St. Louis, Missouri. I'll tell you that right now. So if you wanted to live by the arts, but you wanted good schools, you might have to choose elsewhere. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. The revolution has nothing to do with what Tabitha has to say. As a matter of fact, more and more and more and more stuff is coming out. Twitter, the Twitter scandal that's going on will be felt. Woke companies.
Nobody's going to do anything about that.
Woke-
What do you mean nobody's going to do
They-
anything
None of
about
the media is even covering
It's dead.
that whole
It
Twitter
doesn't
deal.
matter.
No one even cares. Nothing
the
will ever
cancer
happen.
of Twitter is
Nothing-
over.
Nothing
The
ever
cancer
happens.
of Twitter is over. Do you understand what I said? It's been exposed. It doesn't matter if ABC,
So
CBS, or
has-
NBC does anything about it. They do not have their propaganda arm anymore. It's over. Woke companies
Oh,
have.
come on. They're going to
God dang,
cancel
Scotty,
Twitter.
Scott, I need help over here. I need
Twitter
somebody to help
is
me out.
not Twitter's not going to be canceled.
App-
There is no
Both
way.
Apple and Amazon have said they want to remove Twitter from their platforms because they will not police misinformation.
They're not going to do that because
And that's why-
the public outcry would be massive.
Would it?
Yes.
Most conservatives
my
right now
God,
aren't even
Tabitha.
on Twitter.
People listen to you because you make sense. That doesn't make any sense what you just said.
They
Well, we
do?
saw it
I
happen to
thought people
Parlor.
listened to her because she didn't make
No,
sense.
Tabitha, let me tell you something, Vic.
And
It
she's
happened to
entertaining.
Parlor.
Let-
So how are you going to say it couldn't happen to Twitter?
Let me just
It
say
happened to
this.
Parler.
Let me just say this. When
We've
I'm out,
already seen
when
it
I'm
in
out,
action.
What's Parlor?
Exactly.
when I'm out and
Sorry.
about, Tabitha is like she is like the returning of Jesus. People love Tabitha Hassel.
The
They
crowds
love her.
do part, don't they?
They do.
She walks in and she has
They
her
do.
staff. She brings
Yeah.
her staff in
Don't
from the
forget
car,
it. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
and she walks through the crowd.
She's right.
Anointing people as
But you can't say you got to be analytical to the sense that a lot of companies are they're bringing old CEOs into their company to fix woke problems that they started for themselves. The woke thing is going to go away. Go woke or go broke is going to be a bumper sticker in which a lot of these Fortune 500s are going to take
But-
a look at.
That's not going to
Twitter's,
happen.
but Twitter's become a national story and it's become a daily story,
Did
which
you-
is just phenomenal.
But it's not. It's not a national story because the main media organizations
Well,
are not
And
discussing
they never
it.
will.
They never will.
But that's why podcasts like us
Yes,
exist. And
that's
we're not
right.
going to stop because there is a need for what we do. Case in point, over the weekend, guess what else we have heard now? When Twitter files are actually revealed by Elon Musk, thank God we're starting to find out some of the information. And guess what? It's not just some opinion, it's fact. They're
Yes, it is.
releasing it. If it was false,
Yeah.
Elon would be sued.
Yeah.
The people involved would be sued. How does
Yeah.
this make you feel over the weekend? We find out that the Twitter files reveal that the Donald Trump ban on Twitter came right after guess who demanded his removal?
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama.
Mm,
I
mm.
repeat, Michelle Obama demanded Donald Trump be taken off Twitter. And some people were happy. They thought that he shouldn't be doing that. They thought a president and former president shouldn't be on Twitter. Michelle Obama has that much power where she could go to Twitter and do this. And I also find this interesting. At some point in time, we'll find out what St. Louis native Jack Dorsey actually had when it came to being involved in this situation, because now he's coming out. You know, he's not the owner of Twitter anymore. Now he's coming out and saying all the information should be revealed. He backs Elon Musk 100%
Yes, he does.
on everything being released. But a lot of that stuff happened when Jack Dorsey was in charge of Twitter.
Yes, but he had very little control.
It doesn't matter. The problem with Dorsey is he perjured himself in front of Congress.
And as I have learned, it doesn't matter whether you have little control or not. If you have somebody working over you or somebody working under you, they can do a lot of damage to your product.
Now watch this. Watch this. Cancel this.
Or they can try to do damage to your product.
Come on
Jack
now.
Jack Dorsey will be the first item up for bid on The Price is Right when the Congress comes back in. They will have him on the stand and they will say, we're going to give you a second chance. Did you know that your company or the company that you were heading was shadow banning people, whether you call it shadow banning or not? And he's going to have to look in the camera and he's going to have to say no. He said no the first time. Does he say no the second time? Does his lawyer say I can't answer that under the fact I might incriminate myself? Probably.
I don't trust
Now,
him either
all
way.
of a sudden, you have this guy on Twitter. This will become a big news story. It will have to become a big news
Which
story.
part?
The fact that Dorsey perjured himself, that they were shadow banning people. That look, Twitter, Elon Musk is doing what 100% of CEOs would not be doing. He's basically going in and blowing up a company that he just paid $40 billion for
Eric,
to make it better.
I agree with you so much because I saw exactly what happened after Hunter Biden's laptop was discovered. I saw all the backlash and all the people that went to prison. I also agree with you because I saw what happened with Epstein and when Ghislaine Maxwell was finally convicted, all of the names that were revealed, because they always do something, don't they?
Always.
We're finding more and more about Twitter. I mean, never in a million years could you have imagined that all of this stuff would have been going on, and now you're finding out about it being true. You're finding out right now. But as I get angry with Americans and our culture and our society, how we're lazy, how we're, whatever, I'm going to go to my happy hour. I've got this to do that, and I'm going to do this and do that. Another interesting story that came out, and they're important to go, and I seem like they come every day, but they are important. When the whole epidemic was going on over the last couple of years, we talked about him on our former show when Eric, Tabitha, and myself were together on the war on COVID. Stanford University professor of medicine, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, was one of the platforms, Twitter's main blacklist people. And he was blacklisted. And now we find out 100% without a doubt, he was blacklisted. It wasn't just, oh, well, we don't know what's going on with his platform. We don't know what's going on with his Twitter, because he was blacklisted because he, quote, this is coming from straight media headlines, quote, he argued that the pandemic lockdowns would harm children. And then he was unable to trend on platforms after that ever again.
Trend. There's the key word.
So yesterday or over the weekend, guess who invited him to Twitter headquarters?
Imagine that.
Elon Musk brought the man who was, quote, canceled from Twitter's platform, and they brought him in.
Yeah.
You want to talk about a story? Here you are. You bring up an idea, and then you get blacklisted.
Yes.
You get canceled. And now the new owner brings you back in.
You know, I think Twitter has an opportunity to be to compete with the CNNs. Because if they did like a video, like a television show, people would watch them. They would say, this is a company that is trying to be right in the middle. At least they've made the attempt to be right in the middle. Twitter has a lot of opportunity in front of them if they take it.
They do.
They really do. They could maybe compete with Fox on digital. They could compete definitely with CNN and MSNBC on digital. This could be a major media company in the uprising. Not just a hey, let's get on. You want to know something? I've never been on Twitter. I've never seen one Twitter story in my entire life.
It's fine.
I have an Eric Johnson Twitter account. And I keep getting emails saying we're about to get rid of your account because you never use it.
Yeah, use it or lose it, because they're getting ready to delete 1.5 billion unused accounts. But they're still continuing on Twitter to post misinformation. They still have
Oh,
fact
really?
checkers on Twitter.
Who
As a matter of
knew?
fact, they just announced it yesterday that they're continuing this community program they have. And what's
No,
going to
but
happen
yes.
is
yeah.
they're going to have fact checkers.
Yeah. However,
And let's say if I post something and they fact check me and say,
right.
Tabitha Hess, what you posted was misinformation, people can go on there and vote.
Yes.
Is it misinformation or is it not
Yes.
misinformation?
That is awesome.
Which is amazing.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, that's
There is
amazing.
hope. See,
There
Tabitha?
is some hope.
But
Tabitha, you can see
somewhere
a bright
in the
light
world.
in the darkness.
There is some
The
hope.
pin spot is coming at you. You're right. It's like, and you know what? The poll question is actually newsworthy. Is Donald Trump right? Is COVID masks, they really don't work? Vote here. 87% no, COVID masks don't work. So you'll have these polls that will be completely skewed because, of course, would you like to see the Hunter Biden story? Is this misinformation? 97.3% want to see the Hunter Biden story. 3% don't.
Only if right now there's not a lot of conservatives on Twitter. We've got to get our folks on Twitter.
Here,
A lot of people abandoned Twitter when they really got crazy there for a while.
and I'm telling you, because I do follow Twitter, I have seen changes, and I've seen a lot of people
Yes.
jump off Twitter who used to be the keyboard warriors for certain topics when it came to, quote, ripping anybody that had an opinion different than theirs, which might have been a liberal opinion. And we're all about listening to everybody's opinion, but let's talk fact at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We'll listen to you on this show, as we've proven already twice, with having people who have a liberal background, because we're here to talk, we're here to learn. We're not pointing our finger at you and how dare you. Let's have a conversation.
Right.
I'm sorry, you may not change your mind. We may not change your mind, but let's at least get that content out
Have I
there.
ever changed your mind, Tabitha?
Believe it or not, we actually agree on many, many issues. We're
Mhm.
always somewhere in the gray area
It's the tactical.
of agreement.
It's not the strategy. It's the
What
tactical.
we don't agree on is I do think that it's necessary to have a revolution for things to change.
Okay.
And I know
But don't
you don't
you
agree
think
with
that
that.
Twitter is having a revolution for us right now?
Twitter is. Yes,
Don't-
it is.
Oh my God.
Here's why.
It's a
Tabitha.
step. It's a step in the right direction.
It's a coup. It's
We'll
more
see
than
how
a-
it goes. We'll
Well,
see how
yeah,
it
you want to
goes.
watch it, but here's the thing. Think of where we were a year ago compared to where we are now. It's easy to forget where you started and where you came from. Tabitha, I am absolutely stunned at the developments with Twitter over the last year.
I agree.
We haven't seen anything like this in the media in my lifetime, where you have the uncovering of monumental information, things that were happening, quasi crimes, and the local media or the national media won't cover it. I get what you're saying. The local media won't, because the local media doesn't have time to cover national stories. And if they cover national stories, they're only going to cover what the national media does, and they don't have the time, the resources, because we all know local news has changed. You really don't get a lot out of local news anymore, unfortunately. You may get a couple sentences here, a couple sentences there. That's why you need shows like this. Tabitha, what's happening at Twitter is a
I
great,
agree.
great
I
start,
agree.
because now people are dug in the sand on a lot of issues. They are. They've already drawn their lines in the sand. They're dug in. And
I
if
think
you're
the
a
sand's getting
Democrat,
a little bit more.
the Democrats that I know,
pliable.
Eric, would be like, okay, great. I'm glad that Michelle Obama was trying to take Donald Trump off Twitter.
Yes.
They're like, it makes them happy. All this does is solidify where you're standing.
Hmm.
Whereas Republicans would be like, yep, I knew she was dirty. Yep, they're using all those resources. And you know what? If Republicans had, quote, Twitter in their back pocket, they would do the same thing. Dr. Jay Bhattacharya here now. Nobody's surprised when we find out now that he was, quote, blacklisted. He was canceled from Twitter. Nobody's surprised, because he said that lockdowns were not good for kids during the pandemic. And now you know 100% for
Yes.
sure it was right.
And there's where the danger
So now
is.
we
That's
know.
the danger. That's
We
the
didn't know
danger.
this before. We had our hunches, we had our feelings, but now you have proof behind you.
Okay, but I have so little faith, and it's so sad to say this. I have so little faith in the system. And Eric, maybe you guys have more faith than I do. I have so little faith. When I saw Hunter Biden's laptop come out, and I saw the bombs that were in there about Burisma and about the big guy and about Pedo Peter, and I saw all of these things, I thought, oh my gosh, something's going to happen. It's right there in front of our face. Something's going to happen. When I saw Ghislaine Maxwell get convicted
Mhm.
for trafficking children And we've had 0 names mentioned, 0 arrests. Who did she traffic these kids to? We don't know.
Yeah.
I have so little faith in the system. I feel
I
like
think that's a good point.
their thumb is on us and we're not out from
where
under it
in the
yet.
system do you find the biggest bottleneck of problems? I think it's the DOJ. I think you're absolutely right. When you have an FBI and a CIA who has no problem making a call to a private company saying, yeah, if this you don't have to take the story down, but we kind of recommend we really recommend you do. But you know what? The political leanings of that company are like, yeah, because you said it, we would love to be able to do that. So you have all of these conspiring parties coming together. And that's the disgusting part. I think everybody in this room would have said, you know what, Donald Trump, he was a polarizing figure. He said maybe some ridiculous stuff on Twitter. Everyone in this room would go, yeah, all right, I can see. Not that he should have been shadow banned or whatever.
No, he shouldn't.
But when a physician comes out, whatever physician from whatever city, from whatever hospital comes out and says, you know, I've been doing this for 50 years. And let me tell you why that you have a problem with putting masks on kids. Boom. And all of a sudden you're canceled from Twitter. That's where the real problem comes in.
That's called state-ran media.
Millions and millions and millions of times over.
That's communist China right there for you.
The problem is we do have, and listen to me when I say this, we do have examples of, quote, state-run media all throughout the United States. I saw it for 24 years in local news, and you have to be working in local news to see it. And I've explained some of those stories already, some things that I happened when I'm like, well, I thought, talking to colleagues and superiors, well, I thought we're supposed to cover the full story, which is what you get on Cancel. This is what you don't get in national media or local news media. And I was told, well, you know, it'd be disingenuous of us to cover anybody that has a different opinion than what our local health leaders say. I'm like, okay, well, let's look at, quote, local health leaders. Let's look at the relationships behind the scene. Let's look at scientific evidence, or look where there haven't been any scientific evidence or scientific studies proven or shown, but there are examples that go against what we're starting to see. We're not telling people what to think.
Yeah.
We just want to give them the information. You're not getting all the information.
Correct.
Which is what Tabitha's talking about.
Yeah.
That's why you need outlets. You need people. You need several voices willing to come out and talk about all the things that are out there. Just let's give all the facts.
Yeah.
And then let people make their own decisions.
Yeah.
We can all get along. We can agree to disagree. We did that with Mark Kaysen last week, a Cardinal Ritter prep teacher who basically told us we were all crazy and that what he taught was right when it came to several opinions about Democrats versus Republicans. Great. But we're going to talk about it. That's for sure. National, local media, you don't get every side of the story. And there are people who work in those outlets who know what I'm talking about. And it frustrates them. But people are afraid to speak up because they're afraid of losing their jobs or, quote, being canceled.
Exactly right. I don't know if this is the segment to do it, but I want to talk about how you're not conservative anymore and you're not really liberal anymore because they look at this country from the past. I look at our country from the past as where we've been, and I look at it as I look at everything that is wonderful history. I'm not a conservative or a liberal. What I am is I look at the problems that are right in front of us, and I try to think, how can those get fixed? Is it by keeping statues up? Is it taking them down? I look at what are the problems of the country, of the moment. What are the problems of the moment? And how do we fix that?
And I wish everyone thought that way, Eric. I really do. I swear to you, I really wish people could come together because, Vic, you guys say it so often. The majority of Americans are in the middle. They're not that 2% to the far right. They're not that 2% to the far left. I wish that we could come to some issues and we could have some bipartisan support on the issues that matter, drugs and the border wall and all this. But the problem is that we have these establishment people on both sides. They're the folks sitting in Congress, and they will never let us win.
Who are the people that you're referring to that are sitting in Congress?
Almost all of them. Lindsey Graham. I mean, let's go down the list. I would say it's easier to name the ones that aren't.
I teed it up for you again, and you didn't hit the ball out for the person I thought you were going to say
Put
first.
that thing out of the park, man.
I wish I could, but I can't think of anyone.
Who do you dislike the most in the Republican Party that is establishment?
Oh, Romney for sure.
No, he's number 2 on your list. I know your list. You don't even know your list.
Come on,
Romney's number 2. Who's number 1?
Who's number 1?
I don't know. I guess I forgot.
Think of one of your favorite candies. M&M's. You still don't get it. I'll say it for her. Mitch McConnell.
Oh,
She was blasting
oh.
I know.
how you don't know
Sorry.
your number one
There,
hit list in Congress on the Republican Party. I don't know.
I don't like him. I guess because I always think of him as not being Republican. He's just the Antichrist.
Yeah. I'm just wondering right now, if you're a Democrat, have you had enough of the super left-wing liberal part of your party? If you are a Democrat from Iowa, Ohio, Indiana, Tennessee, have you just absolutely had enough with the rambunctiousness of the far left?
Well,
Seriously, good question.
The
we
far
are.
left, yes.
But see, and we lean conservative. That's what we do. But we invite everybody onto the show, and that's why when you look at the list and the people who seek out our show, they are like us. If you don't like us, you're not
I
going
don't
to
want
seek
them.
us
I mean,
out.
I want you.
We
but
bring
I
people
want-
on to educate, and then we expand to everybody. We want everybody on the show, but I'm just telling you who we have now and who is seeking us out.
Do you know what a gradient is? A gradient is if you have the color black on one side and the color white on the other side, and then you slowly move the needle over to you have all of this gray area, right? That's what politics is now. I'm going to get on this show Gen Zers who you might go, oh my God, you look so conservative. Like you might go down to the Lake of the Ozarks and put a Trump flag up, and they're not.
They're welcome
And
anytime.
you're like, oh, wait a minute. You look so like you want to live in a gated community, but my God, you're so liberal. There's a whole swath, a whole gradient of people out there that don't just subscribe to one or the other. And that's kind of this weird new generation. Why are you shaking your head no at me?
Because that's us, the people. What we say and what we want doesn't matter. What matters is the folks sitting up there in Congress making all the rules.
Yeah, but they're
And
voting
trust
for
me,
those people.
They're not the folks in the gray area. They're the folks to the far right and to the far left
That's
that don't care anything about us.
What I'm saying is all of the gray people are ones pulling the levers, and the gray
Are
people
we?
and the gray people are going, well, I definitely don't subscribe to this Mitch McConnell stuff.
So you're trying to say the people in the gray area, which is, I think, the majority of
But
Americans,
that's who
we're
the vote.
we're the people we're voting for. They're not getting elected. They're getting cheated out of their elections.
You are the
We
exception. You're
cannot
not
win.
the rule.
But
Hold on.
hold on.
We're
Okay.
not winning.
No,
We
I'm
can't
not
win.
going to say this disrespectfully, but this is the truth. You are the exception in this country. You are not the rule. The rule is the people in the gray who go to the clubs, who go to restaurants every night, who go to the movies still, who go home and do the Netflix and chill kind of a thing. Those are the gray people, the ones that don't care about politics, but will go out on November the 2nd every year and pull a lever for somebody.
What difference does it matter? You can pull all the levers you want. If they cheat, none of it matters. And that's what they're doing.
Well, I don't know
None
about
of it
that.
matters.
I don't know the quantity. I don't know. I don't have any quantifiable evidence to say people are cheating. The only ones
Yes, you do.
the only ones that we see are the anecdotal mail trucks running through the night.
2,000 mules.
Tabitha. Okay, here's the and by the way, we have now run into a couple business owners who've come by the studio looking at being associated and monumental businesses throughout the St. Louis and Midwest area. And two of them have also already told us, watch 2,000 Mules. I was like, Tabitha's been telling us, watch 2,000 Mules, watch 2,000 Mules. And these business owners are now telling us, watch 2,000 Mules. And they're
Smart
excited.
folks.
And they're excited about what's going on with Cancel This, which is why they're coming to the studio to check things out. And they're like, hey, check out 2,000 Mules. The only issue I have, Tabitha, is when that sounded like a blanket statement. We're like,
Yes.
well, all of our leaders,
Yeah.
the people we want to be leaders, are being canceled out of elections. Well, what about the
The
Republicans?
majority.
Well, what about the Republicans who are winning?
Yeah.
And there
What do
and
you
there
say
are.
about them?
There are. As a matter of fact, I posted something
Well,
about
then
it
how
over the
can
weekend.
you say that this person's getting screwed and this
Because
person
in the
isn't?
vast majority of folks that we should have the House and the Senate right now. We should have both. There is no doubt in my mind we won both. We should have both. There's no doubt in my mind that Donald Trump won the election in 2020.
But what can you
no doubt whatsoever. If you watch 2,000 Mules, you'll see the proof.
but what you can't prove it, Tabitha.
You can prove it. You see the people dropping off pallets of votes. Mail-in voting it's just takes us right down to cheating.
Eric and I are getting called out for not watching 2,000 Mules. I'm
You
sorry.
gotta-
I'll
it's
check
hard-
it
I'm
out.
sorry. I'm
Right.
doing the Harry and Meghan documentary right now.
Oh my gosh. You have to watch it to be able to understand it. That's
And
for
Meghan
sure.
Meghan Merkel is a bitch. Anyway, no, she's a nice person, I'm sure.
My only issue with that, Tabitha, you can say what you want from a national perspective when it comes to the
Now you
voting.
sound like CNN.
Oh, stop it. I'm not trying to be CNN.
All right, Don Lemon.
I am the furthest thing from Don Lemon. Although
And by the way, people are chiming in on
Stop
Facebook.
it.
Chris will chime in.
Election
He's
fraud is
busy
real.
right now.
Yes, he is.
By the
Chris
way,
will
for
chime
people
in.
jumping back into the show, the gang's all back again. The same crew, the good crew that we had from the Viper. Chris Knight now back in studio here. We want him as much as we can get him, but 7 o'clock's a little bit early.
Oh, he's a puss.
Me- we might have to move the show
Poor
back to
puss.
get Chris here. And Scotty Gherkin, also co-host when he had the opportunity to come into the show. They have come into the studio to make sure we look as good as we can, that we sound as good as we can, because we do have big things coming. And we're grateful that they're here today, which is why
Yeah.
Eric said what he said.
Scotty can come over here and share my camera with me.
He's there. We got a camera over there. We'll turn it around. We'll turn all this stuff around because we want to get them both on camera.
Tabitha, you got to understand, my Democratic friends say it, and I'll say it one more time today.
All right, Don.
You can't pick and choose when you think, quote, cheating happened and didn't happen.
Well, I'm not saying it happened in every single district. I don't believe that it did, but I do believe, and I know 100% for sure, there is proof that it happened because we did. There were forensic audits in various counties, and the election was
Okay.
overturned in those
I
counties.
watch. I mean,
Gotta watch it.
Joy Lane from the comment lines. You can't say that there's not cheating without watching
That's right.
2,000
All right.
Mules.
And
We'll
you know
have
what?
to watch
You guys need to watch it. I'll rewatch
Mhm.
it, and we'll all
Have you
come
seen
in
it?
and have a discussion.
Scotty
about
has seen it. Scotty Gherkin.
Do you want to
has
come
seen
over
it.
here and use my microphone and state?
I
your
would. You
piece?
know, I want to videotape Mark Kaysen from Cardinal Ritter Prep, the professor that we had on last week,
Yeah.
who said he's not a liberal. He said he's far left of being a liberal. I want to videotape him watching.
Okay,
2,000
that's
Mules.
a great point.
And by the
Yes.
way, to talk about, because we are
got an
freaking
idea.
fair here.
Yeah.
After being on our podcast, he called Lizzie and just like, I want to do
Okay.
a podcast with them or be a part of your organization. And he's like, I disagreed with every single thing that they
I
said,
got an idea.
but I appreciated the fact that we had great conversation.
I got an idea.
Nobody's yelling at each other.
I
Nobody's
agree.
calling
Did
names.
you guys? Did you
You
guys
guys
ever?
are effing idiots.
Did you guys ever see the movie 2001? What was it? What's the one with the robots? Mystery Science Theater 2000 or 3000? With the robots that watch the movie and then they comment on it as it's going along. That's what we got to do with Mark. I will do it if we can have a liberal in there watching it at the same time that we're all watching it together and see what he says about that. Can we set that up?
Wait a minute.
We can do it here.
Wait a minute. You
Yes,
and
we
Mark
could.
together.
Me, Mark, you, Tabitha, Scotty, Chris in a room with beers or whatever your favorite libation is,
Watching
and we go
2,000
out there
Mules.
watching 2,000 Mules, and Mark can bring a few liberals if he
Can we
wants.
bring Snoop Dogg to
This
narrate?
sounds like
And we do it on camera, on air. We are all facial expressions are being filmed, and we want to see what a liberal thinks
yes, we can
about
get
your
more of a
truth.
crew up here.
Because I mean, I can watch the thing and go, "Oh, Tabitha, you're right," but I want to know what a damn liberal says.
It would either be torture,
What
I'm
it?
assuming for a liberal, or complete comedy.
I think he would do it.
I mean, for my Democratic
And
friends,
tell him
that's what
this.
they would say.
Tell him this. I will donate the $100 to his class if he comes and does it. He comes and watches the movie with us. Here, we'll do it right here.
$100 for what, supplies?
Whatever he wants to buy for. I don't
He
care.
would do it in a heartbeat.
Okay, he gets the 100 bones.
He
If
liked
we,
us.
Well, if we'll do it live to Facebook. I don't know if we can do that through copywriting, but we'll do it live to Facebook if we can. Everybody gets to, and then at the end he gets to comment on what he saw. Because I think all of us can make documentaries that show our side. I'm sure there are liberal documentaries out there.
No.
I knew that was
No.
coming. I knew it was
I
coming.
got to be as
No.
fair as I can on this show.
These
It's not easy.
These are cams. It's not like a person standing there camcording it that could make a mistake. These are like cams on businesses that show these people dropping off like pallets of votes, trucks pulling up to polling locations with big pallets of votes. I mean, there's no way around this.
Okay.
It happens.
I have never seen
No,
it. I don't
this
know
is-
what you're talking about, but I would love to
No,
get.
this is
I
good.
hope you do.
I would.
We had, and he's a friend of mine, Chris Wright, and he leans left. He was on our show on the old Viper. He chimes in, he says, in class, and was 1,000% wrong, but the professor asked him to support his answer. His answer, because I believe it in my heart. He was completely wrong.
There was so much stuff in this Twitter COVID world that we just got out of that was wrong. So much. you got to go now find out if that vaccine.
Everything we're told.
You
is
got to
wrong.
go. You got to go find out for yourself if that vaccine hurt your heart, myocarditis. You got to go see, did your child get hurt in the 2 to 3 years that they were made to wear a mask and not go to school? You have to find out, because the truth was, quote unquote, that it will not hurt your child and everything will be fine if you want to get your kids.
And you bring this up.
Everything. You know, because we're leaving that world
With the elections of believing
everything. Well, like what Tabitha said is everything that we see. Was it the truth or was it a lie?
It was all lies.
What Tabitha is saying is that was a lie, Vic, and that all these
what was a lie?
the elections,
Well,
all these elections,
the elections, what Eric's talking about, the COVID information that went out
just
on
everything.
mainstream media, it was all lies and propaganda.
What do you think about
lies
this?
and propaganda?
I just had a hardcore Republican who donates money to Republican causes message me and say, is cheating when Mitch McConnell spends millions of dollars to smear Eric Greitens?
No,
because-
that's nope.
Because
it's legal.
Eric
That's playing the
said
game.
he would work to remove him from office. Is that what the voters wanted? Question mark.
No, money is playing the game. It's not cheating, but if you don't have it, you're not in the
well,
game.
what McConnell did was perfectly legal. And, you know, here's something that a lot of people
The
don't
political
know.
game.
A lot of people don't understand that when it comes to political ads, you can flat out lie and no one can do a darn thing about it.
There is no oversight over
There
it.
is no oversight.
We did a story on this when I was in local news, and it shocked me. And it's not just Republicans, it's Democrats. Tabitha always likes to go back to
They all lie.
2 elections ago when, quote, oh, guess who should have been running for the president? Bernie Sanders for the Democratic side.
That's
it should
right.
not have been
He
Hillary
won.
Clinton. He won.
He won the
and it's
primary.
been admitted.
He won.
He was
Hillary did not win the
positioned
primary.
out.
That's correct.
So it happens everywhere.
Yeah. Man, it makes you want to ask a lot of questions. But you know what? At this point, you just got to move forward. I think that's where Elon is he's just like, you know what? This Twitter thing was a hub of all of this misinformation, which was really real information. And we just need to blow the thing up.
Well, from the comment
Sorry.
line, once again, you guys are spreading false information.
Okay.
What
how?
specifically? I'd like to know.
Yeah. Start typing
Dude,
or
we-
call in
we try to cover all sides.
or call
here.
in. When
People
someone
can
says
lie on
that,
our comment line too, by the way.
because we have, well, we do, and let us know if you want a video link in. We could maybe attempt that in our next hour. We'll take a quick break. We'll take a break at 8:55. If you want a video link in, let us know. We'll send you a video link.
Chris just said, yeah, let's do it.
I have the video link on my screen, or you can give us a call. The phone number there is 636-515-4892. 636-515-4892. You're watching Cancel This. You can catch us on our website as well. We are a podcast, but we're a live 3-hour podcast, Monday through Friday, 7 to 10 a.m. Central. You can also go to cancelthisshow.com. Once again, cancelthisshow.com. You can read up more about us. You can
Yes.
check out our previous podcast. You can get involved. And of course, we will get back to you. Of course, it's all about making this about you, having the conversations that a lot of times people are afraid to talk about. And of course, we also have an emphasis with cancel culture education. Anybody that's been canceled for any reason, and we're already seeing this. It's Republicans, Democrats, people of all ages. You could report a boss, you could do this, you could do that. And the stories are endless. And that's what we have been trying to do. That's for
Yep.
sure.
Man, I'll tell you what, it seems like this stuff is going to bite them in the ass. All the stuff that Zuckerberg's been doing to impede information, all the stuff that Dorsey's been doing to impede information. It looks like it might actually come back and bite them in the ass.
I'm glad
What?
we were all in a
My
4-shot.
God.
Did you see what Tabitha did when you said that?
Oh,
I'm like, what a
This is what
world
she
you
went-
live in.
Like, really?
Tabitha,
What
What's-
a world you live in.
Eric,
Tabitha.
what's going to bite
Blissfully
who?
unaware.
I want
and when?
I want some whatever you're taking in the morning for your alternate reality, because I'll tell you what, it's good stuff. It's got to be good
I
stuff.
have a question for you, Eric.
I'll
Yeah.
try some.
Yeah, me too. Scotty, give me some alternate reality pills.
Oh
Go
man,
ahead.
we got a mic and we've got Scotty Gherkin. At
I
some
know.
point, we need to put that back up. Maybe we'll try to do it when we take a quick.
We
break at
are. No, we're
8:55.
not trying. We are definitely doing it.
Scotty, do you want to do this every day? Could you get up? He's like, yeah. How much you paying?
How
much you paying?
His mic's on. He doesn't even know.
How much you paying, Dick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a gold mine to pay you, Chris.
Not- not yet.
It's for fun
Not
anyway.
yet. But we hope.
If
that
I
we
gotta do it, you gotta do it. Come on. Hey, look who's here. I didn't even see him walk in.
I love Tabitha being here, and Tabitha, I love you being on the show. because I never know if you're happy, if you're positive,
I'm always happy and positive unless it comes to our country.
and why is that?
What the? I can't believe she just said that. And after this,
And why is that?
Because
Tabitha?
you know what? It would take me an entire
Explain.
hour to tell you
so
everything
you're
that's wrong with
like
this
the
country.
opposite of a Brittany Griner. You don't want to kneel for the flag.
I would do
You are
anything.
exactly the opposite
I
of
would
Brittany
do
Griner.
anything I could for this country. That's why I get up and come here and every other show I've been
Yeah.
on. Every time
But
while I
she
spend
might say the
countless
same
hours
thing.
researching.
Brittany Griner, who was the basketball
say the
player that
same
just
thing.
came back from Russia, was incarcerated. She took knees before the national anthem because
she
of
hates this
social.
country.
She hates the country, but she might say the same thing as you.
No,
that says, "I love
There's
this
a
country."
difference. I'm telling the truth, and you cannot fight what's happening to us until we reveal what the truth is.
Okay.
Because too many people don't know what the truth is.
I feel like that.
too many people don't know.
I think I would just went down a rabbit hole, Vic. I think we should probably.
No, but can I bring us back into one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Here we go. And this is because this whole segment started with Elon Musk and Twitter putting information out now that if it wasn't true, it would be sued. But mainstream media doesn't cover the stories.
Yeah.
And from the comment line, isn't it interesting? Robert says Elon sets new world record for not killing himself after revealing the most deep state censorship. He's got a point. How, and this, I said this last week, how in the hell is Elon able to push all this stuff out? Now, Tabitha said he's worried for his life, right? And
he claims he made a tweet that said, yes, he was
but there
concerned for his
are
life.
also people who think that, quote, Elon is part of some sort of establishment, which is why he can't be canceled, which is why he's able to do what he's doing. And at some point in time,
I don't believe he's part of any establishment.
I don't. It's hard for me to. I just can't figure it out because he seems too perfect for what this country needs in regard.
So I think that we need to. I think that we need to. I'm sorry, we're going through some technical problems, but I think that we need to start to figure out: can you get canceled at your job? And if you can, why don't you just speak the truth, your own truth? You can get canceled, Tabitha. You've got corporations that back you all the time.
I'm on the verge of being canceled all the time. I am somewhat careful. You have to be. I don't want to lose my company.
Right, but will you say anything? Will you say anything at a party? Will you go, I'm a Trump supporter?
Yes.
You will? No, you won't.
Yes, I always do. I'm standing here every morning saying I'm a Trump supporter.
Okay.
And I always have been.
Okay. Anyway, I digress. If you think you can be canceled, you're going to shut the hell up. If you think you can't be canceled, you're not going to shut the hell up.
I agree. When it comes to some things, no question about it. There are issues when I'm at work that I just avoid. That I just try not to talk about because I would rather no one know.
Gotcha.
And politics sometimes is one of those things. Sometimes when I'm at work, I don't talk about politics.
Gotcha. Well, it's just I want to circle back to this for real. So, you're going to come to me on my camera, Christopher?
Yeah, take Eric on the shot.
Okay. There's a lot better people to take a look at right now. But no, I think it's
I can't wait to see how this is all going to go out.
They can only hear me if I have.
So, I mean, when we do this whole situation of Elon, I can't wait to see where he's going with everything.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? So we're going to go ahead and take our first break. We've gone for about an hour and 40 minutes. We're going to break. We'll put that back up. And we'll be right back with more of Cancel This Show right after this.
Second. Like the old days.